Well, Dara O'Briain is here right now. How exciting. Clearly, you're too young to actually remember it. You weren't there. You weren't even born.
I wasn't born. You
weren't born?
No.
I was 10.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what?
It was
I'll
amazing.
never, ever forget it. It was extraordinary. And it just, I don't think people who weren't there appreciate just how it took over our lives.
Yeah.
You know, at school, it's all we did. And we talked about it. And we had pictures everywhere. It was just amazing.
Absolutely. It was the greatest adventure we as a species have ever had.
Exactly.
And also, 10 is exactly the age at which that thing would really
Oh,
get
I just love it. So this programme, tell me about what you've been doing.
And this is our Stargazing special, and it's on next Monday night at 9 o'clock on BBC Two. And we do look back a bit, but we also then look forward to the fact that we are at the point now where it's all beginning to gather pace again. They'll do a fly around the moon before that, but then possibly land on the moon in 2024. So we could be within 5 years of returning there, and sort of some sort of habitation, some sort of thing. Not known up there permanently, but some sort of brief habitation up there. And as well as that, though, it's opening out now, so it's not just NASA doing this, obviously. In terms of just going into space generally and up to the ISS, you've got Elon Musk's SpaceX. They'll be sending people up, and they've got Boeing are making a thing called the Starliner, which we have a go on, basically.
Oh,
the whole show is a lot of having a go on. Hannah Fry's with us as well.
Lucky.
Gets to drive a Mars rover for a while. Does the kind of the model of the docking as well. Like, there's a lot of having a go on. But so the whole point was partly to look back and to meet Charlie Duke, who is he was on Apollo 16, but also was the voice of Apollo 11. So he was the guy who, there's a famous quote, you got a lot of people turning blue here, Neil. He was the voice of so he was giving us his memories both of that and of walking on the moon himself, and how just incredible it was, and him walking going, nobody has walked here before. With every footstep you take, you're thinking nobody's walked here before.
Gosh, that's extraordinary, isn't it? I was very lucky to have Neil Armstrong's son Mark in the show last week. He was talking about Armstrong, you know, the documentary.
Yes, absolutely.
And I was just saying to him as well, you know at school when you say my dad can fight your dad and my dad's better than your dad, and he's just like, well, you know, my dad went on the moon. Astronauts are annoying like that, aren't they?
They are. That's kind of their thing. Kind of the thing is there's no story you can tell that an astronaut can't tell a better version simply because it's in space. I mean, we had Chris Hadfield on, who's fantastic.
Oh, I love him.
And we had him on Stargazing once, and we were talking about the aurora, and we said to him, oh, Chris, when you were up in the space station, did you ever see the aurora, like whatever? And just in terms of, he said, yes, I saw the aurora when I was on the end of the arm. He's on the end of that long arm that he used to do to do work. And we flew through the aurora, he said, and I got them just to turn off the lights. And I just sat on the end of the arm watching the aurora. You win. You win. Totally win.
Any story you've got, they can top it.
If you know an astronaut, you go, I went to the Grand Canyon the other day for a holiday. It was lovely. They can go, yeah, well, I saw it from space. Every story, they have a better version of it.
It's true. I love your passion and your enthusiasm for this.
I find it bizarre that anyone wouldn't be amazed by this stuff.
I know.
And the Armstrong documentary is amazing. It's an incredible documentary thing. Whatever. The Apollo 11 documentary, which is on in the cinemas at the moment, which is just all the original footage, is astonishing. Does the entire journey, explains it perfectly, and then BBC have a thing called 8 Days, which is coming up, which is a drama reconstruction of it as well. So there's a lot of this next week and a half.
It's going to be. I'm just beside myself.
Yes, it's great.
In nerd heaven.
Yeah.
But also, what I'm hoping is it will inspire young people. Yes. Because kids love all this, like little sponges. They soak it up, and it will inspire them to keep pushing.
Absolutely. I mean, it is the easiest thing. I mean, I've always said this. Like 8-year-old children are natural scientists anyway.
Totally.
Whatever.
But they want to know everything.
Exactly. And if you give them an adventure like this, whatever, although they will instantly ask about poo and wee and how do you, because that is
important.
They want, and there is an element of like it is the joy of this is both the extraordinary and the huge, and also but how do you do the day-to-day stuff, and that stuff is a very good way to the kids just love that, isn't it? How do you eat up there and how do you sleep up there? And that actually they're the fundamental problems, because we want to go there for long periods of time, and you've got to get that sorted. I remember you talked about Chris, and he's a brilliant astronaut. Yes, he is. Fantastic man, and he did loads of experiments up there. Do you remember kids were asking him questions? And he did loads of things like that, and did sort of magic, you know, like drinking water and little drops and all that, and that was fabulous. That was a real step forward, I think, that people were comfortable enough that they were able to do that. Well, listen, we're at a really interesting time at the moment where it's kind of opened up to the corporations, which is good and bad in many ways, but it means that there's more routes up, more chances for people to go up, and there is another space station, and then a view to the moon, and then from the moon, fingers crossed.
What would you do to go there? What would you do? Is it something you'd want to do?
What would I do to go to? I'd need to lose like a ton of weight and be maybe a foot shorter. It is.
They are wee.
All
That's
tiny.
the only thing about astronauts. They are small.
Tiny people. They so it's not made like in Apollo 11. I'd be like that in Apollo 11 for the
squished
into the chair. Going.
But would you want to go?
I would love it in the idea. I'd love the idea of going. Like,
right.
I think it would be it would require a great deal of physical strength.
Oh, absolutely, and mental strength.
Yeah,
as well,
I think it's
for
the
sure.
Oh, that I've got.
Oh yes, of course.
But I think I love the idea of going, and the space astronaut thing. I do. I don't think I want to do that thing where you go up and you come back down again.
Right.
That sort of thing, because I think this is the kind of the entry level kind of version, kind of you go up and you see things. And then the weird thing about it is when it goes, because it's a plane doing this. So on this bit, suddenly you drop into free fall and you're weightless. And the bit that's weird is everyone presumes you float up. And you don't. Until
I can't wait.
It's
so
amazing.
Right, we need to go for a cup of tea and you need to tell me everything.
I'll tell you about it.
Tell me everything. And the show is Monday?
Monday at 9 o'clock on BBC Two, both looking back and looking forward. And me and Brian looking enthusiastic, as we always do in these things. And
I love it.
Thrilled with ourselves.
I love it. I love your curiosity and your enthusiasm. Thank you for it.
A pleasure.
Thank you, Dara.